Good morning and welcome to our Spring Preview Online. My name is Nicholas Conlin and I am the Visit Experience Coordinator here at Humboldt State University. I just wanted to say hello, introduce myself, and tell you a little bit about what you're going to expect to see in the videos right after my welcome. So these are in-depth academic tours, which means that we have taken you inside of spaces that you don't normally get to see. And I'm talking about pretty exclusive, unique spaces that students who come to campus for a regular physical tour don't even get to see. We were given the ability and the access to really take you on a unique experience that will show you what you can expect here at Humboldt State. For some of you, you're going to get to see really cool and unique labs and other places where you can perform experiments and really enhance your academic experience. For others, you're going to see spaces that encourage you to come up with the coolest art project you can think of and be involved in as much musical talent as you can. And then even beyond that, for others, you're going to see spaces that really encourage you to challenge the way you think and view the world. So we're excited to be able to bring you this content. We hope that you enjoy it, and we want you to know that Humboldt State will be here for you in the fall and that we're not going anywhere. Enjoy.
Alright, so now we are inside our famous greenhouse. This is mainly for our botany students, but this greenhouse is open to all students. Don't matter what major you are. A lot of students actually do come here. If you would like to walk with me to see all the different types of rooms, we have 6 different types of rooms in here. A lot of students come in here, such as art students, because they like to get a little sense of inspiration. And so we have, this is our temperate room right here, which has a lot of ferns. And so yeah, we'll just keep going alongside with all of our different rooms so you can see it. This right here is our desert room. A lot of Southern California people come and hang out in here just because it kind of feels more homey to them. And so this is our tropical room right off to the other side. And so what I like to point out is that since we all have all these different types of rooms, we try to keep it close enough just so that each plant is getting the type of environment that they need to flourish. This is our fern room right here with different multiple types of ferns. One little fun fact about the greenhouse is that one of our botany professors that used to be a professor here, Dennis K. Walker, which is the greenhouse is named after, he was actually banned from China because he was smuggling out a certain type of plant, so he's able to bring it all for our students here because we have one of the largest collections, and so it's really nice for all of our students here that are able to have these hands-on experiences that other universities don't have access to. So a lot of photography students do come in here to take pictures. I do know that a little fun fact thing to know is that the creator of SpongeBob is actually an alumni of Humboldt State University, and we like to say that he got his inspiration for Sandy's Dome from this dome right here in Humboldt State.
All right, if you look right next to me, you will see the cranium of a sperm whale. And it's on display out here for educational purposes, as this entire section back here aids in the learning opportunities that our students have, not only in our zoology programs, but the biology and botany programs as well. If you look behind over there, you'll see some dissecting tables, and you can follow me up this way. These dissecting tables are used by professors and other faculty members to demonstrate not only necropsies, but again, just different dissections that might go on throughout the year. You'll see on a good day, you'll see students lined up all around right here, looking down into whatever the professor is doing. As of most recently, we had a mountain lion that students had the opportunity to look at the dissection process. Up here we have a great display of our vertebrate museum. Now, a lot of the material is inside, but you'll see here on display vertebrae that our students study and interact with to make sure that they're not only understanding the material, but again, getting that hands-on learning experience that we value at HSC. We're gonna go ahead and give you a sneak peek at this very unique lab we have on campus. It holds a lot of vertebrae and a lot of animals that our zoology students work with. They work with the material to further the knowledge that they already have and really get that hands-on learning opportunity that we encourage at HSU. Hello all, this is Science B. It is home to our biology, botany, and zoology programs. Our biology program has about 6 different concentrations, some of them being molecular, cellular, educational, marine biology, a lot of great opportunities to learn what you're passionate about. But I want to direct your attention over here to my right. This right here is the Hubsbeak whale. It's actually a deep sea whale, but it was found offshore. And through the necropsy, students discovered that it had been thrown off its course because of an ear infection it had. This is a great example of faculty and student relationships, as this was a completely faculty-student project. The necropsy, everything was done by faculty and undergraduate students. So maybe one day you can participate in something like this too. Right now we are in the Department of Biological Sciences. Now this department includes zoology, biology and all of its concentrations, and botany. And because they are all under the same department, they share a lot of the resources, knowledge, and opportunities that you can find here. A lot of their opportunities really are hands-on learning opportunities. And with the help of our local environment, it really makes for a rich educational experience. So right now we're actually in one of our biology labs, and one thing you should know about HSU labs in general is how really small they are. Comparatively, you'll have in your lab classes, you'll have at most 30 to 35 students. And this really provides you with the opportunity to work with your lab instructor and or your professor to really understand the material. There's a lot of heavy equipment in here, but I think one of the biggest things about this space is the opportunity to really learn and really understand the material. Interacting with the material is only the first step. Having the right people guide you through these processes is really important, and you can do that with small class sizes like this. This right here is our animal physiology lab. I want you to really pay attention to how small the classroom is, and also the different technological equipment available in here. Now, a lot of our programs really do work with their students hands-on to make sure that they have all the resources that they might need, and zoology is definitely one of those. Not only do we have the natural spaces around us to explore, but we also have all of this equipment to work in conjunction with that and make sure that you have the best learning opportunity possible.
We are now in the Department of Environmental Science Management and Oceanography. Within oceanography, we actually have a research vessel that is not only for our graduate students, but primarily for our undergraduate students.
Oceanography as an undergraduate program is very, very unusual in the U.S. So there aren't very many undergraduate oceanography programs. Most students, the time that they would get this type of research experience would be in their graduate schooling. So for undergraduates to be able to use this type of equipment for classes is very unusual.
That's good for our first trawl, huh?
Yeah. It's also nice, like a couple weeks ago we went out and we caught a species of octopus that really hasn't been caught before, so it's kind of nice being undergraduate and being able to see those types of species. We learn a lot more from it than if we're just seeing it in a classroom and we just have to look at a textbook or see slides, then actually getting to handle them and see them move around and actually see their structures, like from a first-hand point of view.
So this is one of our chemistry labs. As you can see all around me, there's a lot of equipment and a lot of opportunity for you to use this equipment. Now, our chemistry department really makes sure that you are interacting with this material in a safe manner and in a way that you truly understand it so that safety is of utmost priority. Now, all around me there's equipment, there's a lot of things that you can interact with, even in your first year as an HSU undergraduate student. There's a lot of stuff that goes way beyond the books and way beyond the theoretical stuff. There's actual application that happens not only in this lab, but in several others in this building. Over here is one example of that. This is our nuclear magnetic resonance spectrometer. Sounds super complicated, but this is where things go boom. And here at HSU in our astronomy and physics departments, there's a really great opportunity to expand that curiosity and become a genuine researcher. If you want to peer into space, you'll have full access to our very own observatory, complete with 16-inch telescopes and a 12-inch telescope, both GPS located and computer controlled, as well as several smaller telescopes. Now, in your labs, you'll use modern equipment and instrumentation all on your own, and you'll work in your 16-station computer lab dedicated to physics and chemistry, including research quality software for solving equations you wouldn't even believe.
We are inside Laboratory Hall. Two cool things I want to show you is we have two live seismograph. One is an actual old school barrel, and then the other is an electronic one that you can see all the earthquakes around the world. And so right here we just have a display of certain things that we can see if you're a geologist who also focuses within anthropology, but since we are focusing on geology, I want to show that this is our electric, it's on air all the time. And so this one shows all around the world of all the different types of earthquakes within the day, the week, or the month, and tells you what size it was. And then off to this side over here, this is our live seismograph. As you can see, it might not be moving as fast as you think it is. It is actually really slow, but letting you know, it is moving. One cool thing about this is that it's actually not ink, it's actually a little laser that's imprinting on there, because if you look over here, geologists love to look at old earthquakes that are significant to us, being able to tell us how the earth changes and understanding the earth. And so they like to go back on these old ones and to try to understand it to predict earthquakes. Even though it is kind of hard to predict them, we are somewhat still able to do it.
Today we'll be talking about the Department of Mathematics here at Humboldt State University. Right now, let's go inside and check out the department offices. So for me, one of the things that I really love about the math department is how passionate a lot of the professors here are when it comes to, just teaching math and talking about the topics. For me personally, I spend a lot of time talking to my professors, getting more in depth about certain questions in mathematics, and as well certain ideas and different topics. Even though math just might seem a little bit easy, it does get more complicated when you do take it at a college level. And there's a lot, at least even for me, there's a lot of times where I'll even be pretty confused as to how to find a solution to a problem, what something means in mathematics. And it's really good to talk to a professor, have them help you out so you can actually understand what certain things mean and how you actually can solve that problem. But right now, let's go back outside and then we'll go look at the math. All right, so this room right over here is the math lounge. As you can see, there is still some workout from some of the different math classes that we offer here at HSU. Over here to the right, we also do have some books that professors will either use in their classes or just different books by different authors, but similar topics that different subjects that we teach here as well. A lot of times the majority of our students, or math students, will come here in the math lounge and do a lot of work. They also will get together, do some study groups. It's pretty common for professors as well to have their office hours actually in here. The reason for that is just to try to get more students to come in and engage with each other so they can help each other out when it comes to doing homework or studying for exams. For me as well, I'm here all the time. If anything, I consider it more like my second home, just because how often I was here. But now let's go back into the hallway and then we'll go check out some of the classrooms. So in this classroom, this is actually a classroom that is specifically for the math department. So a lot of math classes will take place in this room. Some classes that I've had inside here, I've had number theory. I've also had abstract algebra as some of the courses that I've taken in this class. For me, it's just really satisfying to actually see a lot of the work written on the chalkboard. It may seem old, but it's really not. It's still really helpful. It's not going to prevent you from being able to learn. but it's just a really good way to just see the work laid out. It's perfectly clear, especially when it's on a black background when you're writing with a white marker. But right now we go to the next classroom. So we're back in the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science. Both departments are located in the same room. The reason for that is because they have a very similar knowledge when it comes to math and computer science. Specifically for computer science, students could join our computer science club. We also do have a PC gaming club, and we have this thing called a hackathon, where students will compete to hack each other as quickly as possible, which is a really good way for them to learn new skills as well as improve their skills, and all these things together are really helpful for them when it comes to transferring their skills. Some of the classes where computer science as well as math majors will take together is graph theory as well as math modeling, where they'll look at it, things, in more of a math-centered way, but they'll also learn how to implement that into a computer science setting and what that can actually be useful for. Alright, so this is one of the classrooms for computer science. This is the Computer Science Teaching and Research Lab. As you can see behind me, we do have some of the servers as well as several computers over here where students can actually use. When it comes to more hands-on learning opportunities for learning programming as well as different types of programming which they will learn in their classrooms.
Welcome to the Wildlife and Fisheries Building at Humboldt State University, home to our Wildlife and Fisheries Biology departments. Our Wildlife department is nationally recognized, winning over 35 different regional and national competitions. Our Wildlife department has over 15,000 different animals in its collection, with over 1,000 on display for students to use and look at. And that actually includes 2 different species of extinct birds, the Carolina parakeet and the passenger pigeon. Our students have the opportunity to work at different facilities, including our Marine Care Center and our game pens. Now that we're actually inside the Wildlife and Fisheries Building, I wanted to show you a little bit of what our Wildlife Department has to offer. Right here we have our grizzly bear out on display. Normally grizzly bears are a little bit darker than this, but he's actually been sun bleached because he's been out on display. Now let's head upstairs and I can show you our bird room. Thanks for following me up here. Let's head in. This is our bird room. It's a part of our animal collection from the Wildlife Department. Students often come in here to study or hang out and get some homework done with their fellow students. The collection was put together by a formal faculty member, and it just kind of goes to show how involved our faculty is with the departments themselves. Our bird room houses our 2 different species of extinct birds, the Carolina parakeet and the passenger pigeon. My favorite though is over here, the little duck babies, because they're super cute. Just a disclaimer, all of our animals have been donated to us by outside resources. They were not killed. So right now I'm standing outside of our game pens, which are run by our Wildlife Department. The game pens normally house about 6 to 7 different species at a time. Right now I'm standing next to some really friendly geese. They're super cute and I really wish you could see them, but hopefully you'll be able to see them when you come to campus. So the whole point of the game pens is to rehabilitate animals, but unfortunately since they have been domesticated, they can't be released back out into the wild. So often they go to places like the Sequoia Zoo, where our wildlife students actually have the opportunity to work there. Our wildlife students also have the opportunity to do work at the Arcata Marsh, our wildlife sanctuary, and our Marine Care Center. The second department that's in our Wildlife and Fisheries Building is the Fisheries Biology department. It was actually the first science major here at HSU. Some cool resources that our students have access to is our fish hatchery, which is actually directly behind me. It houses a bunch of different species of trout. It is available for students for teaching as well as research purposes, and the water from it is actually filtered to our greenhouse for fertilizer. Right now we're sitting outside of our fish hatchery, which is a part of the Fisheries Biology department. It normally houses a couple different species of trout, including rainbow trout, steelhead, and cutthroat. It's a facility that's used for students to do research as well as to be taught. Now let's go take a look over here at the actual fish hatchery itself. Unfortunately, we cannot go inside because we don't have access, but we can take a little sneak peek. You can see some of the beds where the fish are actually being hatched and raised. And behind it, we can't really see it, but we have a hydroponics bay for our students to have access to. Hydroponics is the study of growing vegetation without soil, so they use mineral-rich water. And so often if you're walking behind the fence, you can see like heads of lettuce being grown on top of the water. Some other cool resources that our Fisheries Biology students have access to are the 15 different small boats that are in addition to our undergraduate research vessel and our Theology Lab. Let's take a step inside. This is our Theology Lab, where students have the opportunity to study fish. Our lab sizes never exceed 25 students, so that students have the opportunity to get really close to their professors and actually have good one-on-one work with them, and so their professors actually know their name rather than just some random grad student where you have to press a button for attendance and that kind of stuff.
Right now we're in our Forestry Building, which houses our forestry major and as well as our Rangeland resources major. So one cool little fun fact about this building is that, as you can see, it's made of all different types of wood because this is the only building that has ever burnt down here on campus. And so this is right here is just a little plaque about the different companies that were able to help us into reconstructing our forestry building. So we're going to go ahead and walk around and look at the different apartments and hope you enjoy.
What's it like to be a student of Rangeland Ecology and Management? You'll spend a lot of time outdoors. Chances are you'll learn about soils across beautiful open landscapes. You'll also learn how to identify and measure plants like grasses, wildflowers, and shrubs. Then add in the animal science. Sometimes you'll be working with livestock species like horses, cattle, and sheep. You might work with herding and guard dogs, either on allotments or on private ranches. And then there's the wildlife species and their habitats. If you enjoy watching pronghorn, elk, deer, or even sage grouse, you'll have an opportunity to work with these animals and their habitats in rangeland resource science. Finally, you'll learn how to put all these components together. Sometimes range management is called applied ecology because botany, plant science, soil science, animal science, and human interactions are all put together. You'll understand how all these components function together in a working landscape to produce provisioning food and fiber and for other ecosystem services.
Now we are in our department office of our forestry and rangeland resources. So within our rangeland resources, we have a lot of community-based learning and as well as a lot of job opportunities within our internships as well. And so if you're really interested in working with our community while learning at the same time and perhaps getting paid as well, you'll be able to do that all here at Humboldt State. Within our forestry major, we are in the heart of our redwood forest, so pretty much your classroom will be also outside. You'll be able to go on hikes with your professor and with your different classrooms, and you'll be able to learn a lot about the forestry major that we have here. Alright, so now we are actually in one of our forestry classes, and so this is mainly where all of our students are able to start their projects, produce their projects, and as well just starting to learn about the beginnings or as well the expansive future into forestry. So one thing we like to focus on is that especially within our labs, we like to have one-on-one contact with our students and our professors. So as you can see, this is one of actually a small class, and we like to keep it that way because if you are in a huger lecture lab, it'll be actually harder for students to have that communication and that relationship with our professor. But here on campus, we actually like to build up on that. We're now in our natural resources building. Within the forestry major, we have a focus in fire ecology, which we are now in our fire lab. And so pretty much you'll learn about how fires start, what type of woods actually burn faster than others, why do they catch on fire, and actually how do some of the trees survive fires and regrow. So that's pretty cool. Here we also have this is where the fire would actually be conducted at. As you can see, we have a measure where we're able to see how high the flames go, and then as in the back you can see all the different types of woods that we have so that we can practice on and seeing what burns faster. Within our environmental science management, we have a lot of community hands-on work that you're able to do here on campus.
So behind me here is our hydrogen fuel station. It was a collaboration between the Schatz Energy Research Center as well as Chevron and the California State Department of Transportation. The Schatz Energy Research Center is a part of our Environmental Resource Engineering Department. Let's take a look over here. So even as a small campus, we do have a large impact on our community, and we are very dedicated to sustainability, so this is just one of the ways that we show that. So right now I'm standing outside of Harry Griffith Hall, which is home to our Environmental Resource Engineering Department. The department is one of the largest and oldest in the United States and is an international leader in developing appropriate technology. So that includes things like solar panels, fuel cells, and biomass research. So right now I'm standing inside the actual Department of Environmental Resource Engineering. The major itself has 3 different concentrations, including water quality, water resources, and energy resources. So right now I'm about to walk into one of our research labs for our Environmental Resource Engineering Department. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go into any of the more advanced labs, such as our thermodynamics lab and our hydraulics lab, because of the highly sensitive equipment that they have, but you will be able to check those out once you're a student here. This area is more for public work, if you're doing any collaborations on projects with other students. It has some pretty cool materials in here.